And I'm Heidi.
And today we're going to be talking about how Tampax tampon commercials create a rhetorical vision, or a shared reality within a group, around menstruation to shape our view of periods.
We use fantasy theme analysis to examine the messages that popular culture sends to the public. For fantasy theme analysis, there are three main components to cover: dramatis personae, scene, and plot.
We'll use these elements to determine the rhetorical vision. And after that, we're going to discuss the implications of this rhetorical vision and what it means for all people, whether you experience a period or not.
So let's start with dramatis personae. This is just a fancy term for characters. As you can see, the protagonist in every commercial is a relatively thin, active, and traditionally feminine woman. In all but one commercial, she is a white woman, but even the woman of color is pretty light-skinned too. In this way, the commercials portray a very narrow representation of women.
Next is scene. The scenes vary depending on commercial. Whether it's a water park, an urban street, or the woods, the majority are outdoors and all promote some sort of adventurous lifestyle.
Now on to plot. The plotline of these advertisements are shockingly consistent. In each, a busy woman is shown uninhibited by her period because she has Tampax tampons. These on-the-go women are out enjoying life without the worry of leakage or anyone finding out about their period.
They can be discreet and they can live their best lives because they have power over their periods. One commercial even talks about how
it helps keep my period invisible.
Using all the elements, the rhetorical vision created is this. With Tampax tampon products, women don't have to worry about their period anymore. They can live life liberated from the inconvenience of menstruation. That sounds pretty empowering, right? Well, let's dig a little deeper. What exactly are they saying about menstruation?
There are few mentions of periods aside from the taglines, and the words blood, menses, and vagina are never said or even hinted at, nor is the actual function of a tampon. It seems like even the color red is avoided to deter attention from the actual period. Like, what is this? Nothing blue should be coming out of your body, like ever.
If we're so empowered, then why can't we just be honest? These commercials are constantly highlighting the discreetness and secrecy of the products. So how is it liberating for us to pretend that our bodies aren't experiencing something so significant?
We act like no one can know when we're menstruating. And to keep everyone from knowing, we have to prevent it from having any control over our lives. When these commercials are promoting the idea that we need to have power over periods, what they're really saying is that periods are not normal, but something to be overcome. This tells us that if women are not doing these things, then they are letting themselves be disempowered and weak.
A study by Hoffner and Buchanan in media psychology showed that people absorb the messages that they see in media. Absorbs. So by showing people that there is a correct way to have a period, advertisers are doing actual harm to women who see these messages.
The consequence of selling this message, then, is that it tells women who do not meet these expectations that they are dirty and wrong and should be ashamed of it. It makes you self-conscious about something that's completely natural. These advertisements push the idea that women need to be liberated from their biology so that their periods don't get in the way of their normal life.
But menstruation is a part of normal life for so many people. Why are we so afraid to talk about women's bodies?
Historically, we have promoted men's bodies as normal and women's as abnormal. For example, for a long time, when new medicines first came out, they were only tested on men because men were seen as the norm. Women were secondary, and some of these notions still exist. Because of these concepts, women's bodies are still seen as abnormal, and by extension, the functions that are unique to women's bodies are as well. So we dance around topics like periods, and advertisers talk about them like they're some huge, scary secret.
Sure, periods can suck, and they can be inconvenient, absolutely. But as Mandziuk talks about in Women's Studies Quarterly, these advertisements make periods in and of themselves the problem, rather than focusing on how certain symptoms of periods can have very real health effects.
Tampon advertisers perpetuate the stigma that periods are the problem so that they can be the providers of the solution and sell their products. But this approach isn't necessary. Women will continue to buy menstrual products, so why not change the approach?
If we all work together to change this rhetorical vision, we can come to celebrate all bodies and accept their natural functions.
Sure, it's going to take some work,
but we've got to start sometime,
and the time is now. Period.